I care about keeping children safe online because it's our core mission to remove child sexual abuse images wherever they're hosted in the world, and our mission is an internet free of child sexual abuse material. I'm Michael Tunks, I'm the Head of Policy and Public Affairs at the Internet Watch Foundation. And why is the protection of children important? Well, it's central to our mission. We want to see an internet free from child sexual abuse material, and I'm here today with .Europe to discuss the proposal to tackle child sexual abuse online that has been proposed by the European Commission, and to discuss how we might improve it.
I'm Ciara Ramli and I head .Europe, the European Trade Association representing internet companies. One of our core issues is making sure our audiences are safe and secure in the online environment, including the vulnerable part of that audience, the children. So CSAM is one of those acronyms, like so many Brussels bubble acronyms, child sexual abuse material. An area I think that a lot of us find very difficult to have to tackle, one that's so extremely important. And so that's exactly what this proposal that we're working on attempts to tackle.
And so the proposal coming onto the regulation requires technology companies to do more to protect children online, particularly related to child sexual abuse, specifically related to child sexual abuse, and requires companies to take action on content that is previously known, so that organisations like IWF may have detected in the past, and technology companies, content that is unknown, not previously detected, and grooming as well, and have tools in place to utilise that.
How can we empower children? I think that's what lies at the core of what we're trying to do here, because children are online, they're getting all this content, using it thankfully, because I think there are lots of benefits to children being online, but they're also exposed to content that they might not be able to process. And I think that's why it's our responsibility to make sure that we create a safe environment for them to be able to operate in.
Yeah, absolutely, I would agree with you. What's really concerning and why this regulation is needed is because so much of this content is actually hosted in EU member states. So in the last year, we saw 59% of the material we were removing from the internet was hosted in a European Union member state country, 32% of that in the Netherlands. And these are images that are illegal. They are of children being sexually abused. We've seen a doubling in the worst forms of child sexual abuse. So there is a need to protect them online through better protections, and this is what this proposal seeks to do, building on the good work that is already there between industry and civil society organisations like the Internet Watch Foundation and our members.
Indeed, and of course the proposal does focus on the remedies rather than on prevention, which is an area that I think we could still also look at a little bit more in the proposal, but that we currently aren't as much.
Yeah, so I mean, we do encourage parents to have conversations with their children through the talk checklist that we have, telling children about the scale of child sexual abuse online and the problems that there are, agreeing the boundaries, learning about the apps that children like to use, and knowing about their online experiences is really important. It does require a holistic approach, but it is also very important that we have tools in place online to enable better protection from harmful content.
Yeah, I think that actually brings us to a very obvious one where, yes, the EU is of particular concern, but it's not just an EU problem. It's a problem that we today are already trying to tackle at global level, one that we'll probably have to continue to tackle at global level with potential deepening of the approach, but not trying to reinvent the wheel. There is a proposal for an EU centre to get set up, and I know IWF is also working together with NECMEC, as is the industry and the companies directly. Don't know, Michael, if you want to add anything there?
Yeah, I think not duplicating effort globally is going to be really important. So, we already have a structure for mandatory reporting that goes through from US companies that are in scope of US laws around mandatory reporting. Obviously, when that's introduced both in the EU Centre, through the UK's Online Safety Bill and other aspects, then it's very important that we don't duplicate effort there. And I think it's really important that the Centre is able to enter into collaborative arrangements with other people that work within the sector, so like IWF and others that you've mentioned there as well.
Indeed, and I think that's where it becomes even more apparent how important it is to use the very specific expertise that there is in this area efficiently, because you don't have limitless amounts of regulators or enforcement bodies or representatives even. And I think trying to populate yet another organization to oversee this is going to be difficult. And not to forget that the US companies will actually be in breach of the US framework if they now share the reports that they have beyond NCMEC. So that needs to be resolved as well. Well, I think it's how to make this whole proposal future-proof, really. I think that's one thing that's going to be very important, because we're looking at a snapshot of the reality today, but there's continuous innovation in terms of technological solutions and ways to bring the content forward. But also the perpetrators continuously innovate in the way that they try to bring things out. So I think what we need to make sure is that we're not just addressing today's reality, but that we're creating a legal basis that will allow for future voluntary measures to continue to be one step ahead of the game. Would you agree with me on that one?
Yes, I would. I do think it's really important. The tech companies have the expertise, skills, experience, resources to be able to innovate in response to these problems. So I do think it is really important that it's there. I think it's about how we incentivise companies to do that as well, and that we use the detection order process, which is set out in the proposal, as a last resort. And that should be in place, obviously there for companies that aren't fulfilling their obligations. Then absolutely, we should be going down a detection order process. But it is important we give clear legal certainty to companies. We already see, what are termed as future challenges that are already here when you look at AI, the metaverse and things like that. So it's very important that the proposal also stays technologically neutral, that we don't legislate for specific pieces of technology, but we enable a response with clear legal certainty.
I think there's a developing theme here where we're just talking about complementing what's already there and not trying to come up with something completely new that could be disruptive.
Yeah.
So we need to build on what's there in terms of the law enforcement, in terms of technology, in terms of where the innovation needs to be able to continue to do its job. But I think we both allude to the fact that that really is core.
For us, it will be ensuring that there isn't duplication of effort and that the mandatory reporting system and other things work well together.
Indeed, I think the complementarity of everybody's efforts and making sure that everyone actually connects the dots is where the future and a possible way to tackle this problem is going to result in success.